Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are really setting out to kind of bust that myth that getting good photos and videos has to cost a fortune.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been digging through a whole pile of sources, and honestly, the evidence is clear. That $100 price point for digital cameras, it's not a barrier anymore.
Not at all. It's more like a gateway, right?
Exactly. So our mission today is pretty focused. We're diving deep into this, exploding market of super affordable digital cameras. We're looking specifically at models around that $100 mark.
And we're aiming to pull out the top 4, the ones that really give you the absolute best bang for your buck in 2024.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
This is really for you listening. Maybe you're creating content, maybe you travel a lot, maybe you're a student, or just busy parent trying to capture moments.
Right. You need the info quickly, but you want it to be thorough. You want those powerful features, but without, the massive price tag.
And the aha moment here. It's pretty striking when you look at the sources.
It really is. We're not talking about those grainy point and shoots from 15, 20 years ago.
No way.
Yeah.
The tech has moved on so much.
Yeah.
These cheap, powerful chipsets have just completely changed the game. It's democratized the whole field.
It feels like this convergence of, cutting edge tech almost, but at prices that are just incredibly low.
Totally. These budget cameras, they're standardizing features that honestly used to be only on mid-range DSLRs or maybe the top smartphones.
That was a specific...
So we're talking guaranteed 4K video across the board in our top picks. Still photos hitting, and this is kind of wild, up to 64 megapixels.
64? Wow.
Yeah. And even things like Wi-Fi connectivity are showing up. It just means quality photography, good video. It's more accessible now than, ever before, really.
Okay, so before we jump into the specific cameras, let's set a baseline. When we say a camera under $100 is good, what features are non-negotiable now, and what are we maybe giving up at this price?
Good question. Let's start with the specs, maybe resolution first. Image quality. The jump from, say, 12 megapixels, which used to be common, to now seeing 48 or even 64 megapixels. It's huge, on paper anyway.
Why does that matter so much? Is it just bigger numbers?
Well, it's not just bigger numbers, but the main reason it's useful, especially at this level, isn't necessarily for gathering more light. We'll get to that. It's really about cropping flexibility.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, think about it. You take a wide shot, maybe a landscape. Later, you decide you want to pull out just a small detail from that scene.
Right.
Having 64 megapixels gives you incredible leeway. You can zoom in digitally, crop it tight, and still end up with a sharp, high-resolution image that looks good online or even printed reasonably large. It's like having digital insurance,
That makes a lot of sense. More data, more options later. But hang on, if these are under $100 and they're boasting 64 megapixels, a pro camera with that kind of resolution costs thousands. There must be a catch, right?
That is absolutely the crucial point, and it's why we do these deep dives, to find that balance. You've nailed the technical caveat. It's sensor size. Yep. The actual physical sensor inside a, say, $50 camera is just fundamentally tiny compared to a professional full frame or even an APS-C sensor.
Right. Much smaller.
Much smaller. So while 64 megapixels sounds fantastic, you're cramming all those pixels onto a really small surface area.
So what does that mean in practice?
It means you get that amazing cropping potential, yes, but you don't get the same true light gathering ability or, frankly, the same level of color accuracy or dynamic range you'd get from a bigger sensor with the same resolution.
Okay, so it's great for bright daylight shots, maybe.
Exactly. Perfect for well-lit outdoor scenes. But its performance will definitely dip, sometimes sharply, in low light, which is why we need to look really closely at other specs, like the lens aperture, on these cameras.
I got it. So high megapixels are mainly for flexibility, not necessarily for amazing quality in every single situation. That really reframes the value. What about usability? What's something that used to be, pretty bad on budget cameras, but is now a must-have?
Oh, that's easy. Autofocus, the AF capability.
Ah, yes. Blurry pictures galore back in the day.
Exactly. Old budget cameras were just notorious for slow, laggy, unreliable focus. So frustrating. You'd miss the shot constantly.
So what's changed?
Modern versions use much faster contrast detection systems. And our sources really highlight how effective this sort of intelligent autofocus is now. Where you press the shutter button halfway down, it reliably locks focus on your subject. Then you press it all the way to take the picture. That simple two-stage process working reliably, it's a total game changer, especially for beginners.
Yeah, takes the guesswork out.
Massively reduces frustration, especially if you're trying to grab a quick shot like Kids running around, pets doing something funny, or just a fleeting moment when you're traveling.
And thinking about content creators, which is a huge part of the audience for these videos, obviously critical.
Absolutely paramount, yeah. For YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, whatever. 4K resolution is basically the standard now across all the top contenders we looked at.
And what technology makes that possible at this price?
It's largely down to the shift to modern CMOS sensors. That stands for complementary metal oxide semiconductor.
Right.
These CMOS chips just have much faster readout speeds compared to the older CCD sensors. That means they can handle the huge amount of data needed for 4K video and also things like burst shooting without overheating or dropping frames.
So your videos look professional and they're not going to look dated in a year or two.
Exactly. Future-proofed, basically.
Okay, another spec I see listed on pretty much all of these is 16x digital zoom. Now, historically, digital zoom was, well, kind of garbage, wasn't it? Just blowing up pixels and making everything blurry. Has that actually improved?
It has improved, yeah.
Yeah.
But we need to be realistic, critical here. It's still software interpolation.
Meaning
the camera's essentially guessing the information between the actual pixels it captured. It's making stuff up digitally.
Okay, so not true zoom.
Definitely not true optical zoom. However, the algorithms doing the guessing, they're much smarter now than they used to be. So I think we should view 16x digital zoom as more of a utility feature.
How so?
Like you use it when the subject is genuinely too far away and cropping won't cut it. Maybe you want to see a detail on a distant building or scope out something across a valley.
But not for your main high-quality shot.
Probably not. If you rely on it heavily, no. You will see image quality drop off, especially at the extreme end. It's more a tool for estimation or framing assistance rather than capturing pristine, super zoomed images.
Got it. Manage expectations on that front. Let's shift gears a bit. Away from the raw specs, what about the design touches? The things that make these cameras actually nice to use, make them feel modern.
For me, the single most valuable design element, especially for today's user, has got to be the flip screen.
Ah, yes, the vlogging screen.
Exactly. Specifically one that rotates a full 180 degrees. If you're vlogging, taking selfies, filming yourself doing anything solo, you absolutely need a screen that flips right around.
So you can see yourself, check the framing, focus.
Yeah. Make sure you're actually in the shot. Make sure you're in focus. Check the exposure in real time. No more guessing and hoping for the best. It's essential.
And I keep seeing IPS mentioned for these screens. IPS technology. Why is that important? What does in-plane switching do?
IPS is crucial for a couple reasons. First, it gives you much wider viewing angles.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be looking directly straight on to see the image properly. And second, it generally offers more accurate color reproduction.
Okay.
But maybe most importantly, especially for using these cameras outdoors, it significantly reduces that horrible washout effect you get in bright sunlight.
Oh, yeah, where the screen just becomes totally unreadable.
Exactly. Cheaper, older LCD tech was awful for that. IPS screens maintain much better contrast and brightness, so you can actually still see what you're framing and review your shots, even on a bright, sunny day. It's a huge quality of life improvement.
Makes sense. What about connectivity? That's often a big differentiator as you go up in price. What are we getting down here under $100?
We're starting to see two really key connectivity features emerge more consistently. First is webcam functionality via USB.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, you just plug the camera into your computer and bam, you can use this 4K sensor and better lens for your Zoom calls, your streaming. Instantly upgrades your look way beyond a standard laptop webcam.
That's genuinely useful. And the second feature?
The second, which is still a bit less common in the absolute cheapest models but is appearing, is Wi-Fi connectivity.
For transferring files?
Yep, wireless transfer directly to your smartphone. This fundamentally speeds up that whole process of shoot, maybe do a quick edit on your phone, and share it online.
Yeah, cuts out the cables and the computer stuff.
Exactly. Big deal for workflow if you're posting on the go.
And finally, just thinking practically, portability and power. People want compact cameras for travel, but they also need them to last.
Compact design is pretty much a given in this category. They're all quite small. But the biggest pain point, looking at customer feedback across the sources, was definitely short battery life.
Always the way with small devices.
Right. But the best models we found are tackling this head on. They're including multiple batteries, sometimes 2, even 3, right in the box.
Oh, that's smart.
It is. It means you get extended shooting time without having to immediately go out and spend extra money on spares. Huge plus.
Okay, I think that sets the stage perfectly. We know what to look for. Let's dive into the specific cameras. Which one did the sources rank as the best overall value?
All right, so our first contender, the one pegged as the best overall value proposition, is the Duluvulu 4K digital camera DC-101.
Duluvulu DC-101. Okay, the price is $59.99, so well under our $100 ceiling. And it seems like people like it, over 2,000 ratings, averaging 4.3 out of 5 stars. That's pretty solid market proof, isn't it?
It really is. It's clearly resonated with buyers.
Yeah.
And spec-wise, it hits all those modern essentials we just talked about. You've got your 4K video, 48 megapixel stills, a decent CMOS sensor, that 16x digital zoom. It's the definition of a reliable baseline.
But what makes it the best value? Where does it really punch above its, well, almost $60 weight?
It really comes down to its physical design and, crucially, its power package.
Okay, tell me about the design first. How does it feel to use?
Well, it features that really important 3.0-inch IPS screen with the full 180-degree flip. So fantastic for selfies, great for vlogging. And the body itself is described as ultra-compact.
Pocketable.
Definite. Ideal for travelers, chuck it in a coat pocket, small bag, whatever. It's designed to be unobtrusive, which, encourages you to actually take it with you everywhere.
Makes sense. And the features list looks pretty impressive for the price. What are the standout shooting capabilities here?
Beyond the standard modes, it offers some genuinely useful tools. There's continuous shooting. It fires off 3 quick frames. Great for capturing that split-second moment, the peak action or the perfect smile.
Yeah, increases your chances of getting the shot.
Exactly. It also has anti-shake technology, which is pretty crucial for handheld shooting, especially if you're moving. And it includes a built-in fill light.
How useful is a tiny fill light like that, really?
Look, it's not going to light up a room, but it's surprisingly effective for adding just a little pop of light, maybe a catch light in someone's eyes in dimmer conditions, or for softening harsh shadows if you're shooting indoors near a window, for example. It's subtle, but useful.
I see it also as creative stuff, like time-lapse and slow-motion modes, so room to play around.
Yep, encourages experimentation. But honestly, the feature that really defines the Duluvulu, the thing that solves that major pain point we mentioned, it's the battery situation.
Ah, the power package you mentioned.
Correct. They absolutely nailed battery assurance with this one. The package includes 2 spare rechargeable batteries, plus a dedicated charging station.
You get 3 batteries in total.
3 batteries total, right out of the box. Think about that. If you're going camping for a weekend, or you're documenting an all-day event like a wedding, where you might not have easy access to power,
That's huge.
it fundamentally changes how you can shoot. It just removes that constant battery anxiety, that background worry. And in this budget category, that is a massive, massive win.
Okay, solid all-rounder with amazing battery life. Let's move to number 2. This is the Lecnippy digital camera DC-402, and this one gets the title for the best feature set for the price.
That's right. The Lecnippy DC-402 hits an incredibly low price point, just $49.98, so it's tied for the cheapest in our roundup.
Wow, under $50.
Under $50. And it still maintains a really strong customer rating, 4.5 out of 5 stars from over 1,500 reviews. It really proves you don't have to sacrifice core performance just because the price is rock bottom.
Okay, specs look similar at first glance: 4K video, 48 MP stills, 16x digital zoom, built-in image stabilization. So where does it differentiate itself? What makes this feature set stand out?
Well, the sources suggest its autofocus system, that 2-stage half-press-to-focus thing, is particularly quick and effective on this model.
Yeah.
Good for reliably catching faster-moving subjects, maybe pets or kids playing sports.
Okay, snappy focus.
Yeah.
What else? You mentioned unique selling points.
Yeah, 2 things that are incredibly rare at this price. First, something that's crucial for certain types of creators.
Yeah.
It can record while charging.
Oh, okay. Explain why that's a big deal.
If you're planning on using the camera for, say, long interviews, or maybe setting up an extended time-lapse that runs for hours, or especially if you want to use it as a webcam for live streaming.
Right, you don't want the battery dying midstream.
Exactly. Yeah. With this feature, you just plug the camera into a USB power bank or a wall adapter, and you can keep recording indefinitely. No need to stop, swap batteries, miss crucial moments. It's a silent hero feature for anyone doing marathon sessions.
That is genuinely a game changer for those use cases. Eliminates a major hassle. What's the second rare technical advantage the Lecnippy has?
It's the lens aperture. The Lecnippy boasts a maximum aperture of f2.8.
f2.8. Okay. Translate that for me. Is that good?
That's really good for this price point. It's a massive distinction. A lot of budget digital cameras might start at f4.0, maybe f3.5 if you're lucky.
And aperture controls how much light gets in, right?
Precisely. Aperture is the size of the opening in the lens that lets light reach the sensor. A wider opening, which means a lower f number, like f2.8, lets in significantly more light than a smaller opening like f4.0.
Okay, so f2.8 lets in more light. What does that mean practically for the photos you take?
Practically, it translates directly into much better low-light performance.
Yeah. The Achilles heel of small sensors.
Exactly. If you're shooting indoors without much light, maybe at an evening party or just around the house after sunset, that f2.8 aperture could be the difference between getting a reasonably clear, bright photo and getting that typical dark, blurry, noisy mess that used to define cheap digital cameras.
Because the sensor is small, it needs all the light it can get.
Every photon counts, and an f2.8 lens simply gathers way more light than its f4.0 competitors at this price. It can genuinely save your photos when the light levels drop.
That's a really significant technical advantage for under $50, and the package is decent too.
Yeah, it comes with a 32 GB SD card and 2 batteries. So, like the Duluvulu, it's pretty much ready to shoot straight away. A fantastic choice if you want the absolute maximum features per dollar.
Only slight downside mentioned was the white finish may be showing dirt.
Yeah, a minor aesthetic point. Looks sleek, but maybe needs wiping down more often if you're using it out and about a lot.
Okay, on to camera number 3. This is the 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 4K digital camera CDC413S, the resolution champion, apparently.
That's the one. The 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 CDC413S is also priced incredibly low at $49.99, tied with the Lecnippy. But its customer satisfaction rating is notably high, 4.8 out of 5 stars, although from fewer reviews, about 240.
Okay, high satisfaction. And its claim to fame is resolution.
Yes. It boasts an industry-leading 64-megapixel photo resolution for this category, tying the highest number we found.
64 megapixels again. So who is this camera really for?
This is really for the user whose workflow involves, or might involve, significant post-processing. If you're someone who likes to crop images aggressively, maybe take a wide shot and pull out several different compositions later, or if you genuinely intend to print your photos quite large, say 60 by 20 inches or even bigger,
then you need that detail.
You absolutely benefit from having those 64 million pixels to work with. While we've discussed the sensor limitations for sheer digital information and cropping potential, the 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 delivers the maximum available at this price point.
It also has a really interesting, quite innovative feature for vloggers, doesn't it? The dual camera system.
Yeah, this is pretty clever engineering for the price. It actually has 2 separate lenses, one front-facing, one rear-facing, and there's a button to instantly switch between them.
How would you use that?
Imagine you're vlogging. You're talking to the camera, showing your face with the front lens. Then you want to quickly show something happening behind you, like a view or an event.
Instead of awkwardly turning the whole camera around?
Exactly. You just press the button, it switches to the rear lens, you capture that view smoothly, then press it again to switch back to yourself. It makes for much cleaner, more professional-looking transitions without fumbling or shaky footage. Really streamlines the storytelling.
That's genuinely neat. The sources also mention the 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 focuses a bit more on handling and accessories.
That's right. It's described as being slightly larger than some of the ultra-compact models. This actually gives it a more substantial, secure grip.
Better for stability.
Yeah, especially if you have larger hands, it can feel more comfortable and easier to hold steady. And the accessory package that comes with it is, hands down, the most complete we saw.
What do you get?
You get the essential 32 GB SD card, 2 batteries, a USB-C cable, which is nice and modern, but also a dedicated padded storage bag for the camera, and even a lanyard.
So literally everything you need to start shooting and keep it protected.
Absolutely 0 additional purchases required. Open the box, charge the batteries, and you are good to go.
And it seems to offer more creative control options too.
It does. The menu system apparently gives you more granular control over things like white balance, ISO sensitivity, different metering options for exposure, and it includes a range of built-in filters.
So it caters to beginners but lets you grow.
Exactly. You could start on full auto, but as you learn more about photography, you can start experimenting with these manual controls. It means the camera can potentially stay useful for longer, adapting to your improving skills.
Okay, 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭. Highest resolution, dual cameras, best accessory pack, room to grow. Now for our final contender, which is the priciest, but still under budget. The Duluvulu 4K digital camera DC103 at $69.99.
Right, the Duluvulu DC103. It's the most expensive of our 4, but still comfortably under that $100 mark. And it justifies that price by being the clear winner for seamless workflow and connectivity. We're calling it the connected content creator's choice.
And it seems users agree highest satisfaction rating of the bunch at 4.9 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, very impressive rating. Spec-wise, It's right up there at the premium end for this category. 4K video, and it ties the 𝐂𝐚𝐞𝐬𝐭 with that top-tier 64-megapixel resolution. The sources also mentioned it uses the latest generation CMOS chip, which supposedly gives it excellent dynamic range.
Meaning it handles bright skies and dark shadows in the same shot better?
Supposedly, yeah. Better detail retention in both the highlights and the shadows compared to some competitors. But the absolute killer feature, the thing that really defines this camera and justifies its price, is the connectivity.
Let me guess.
Wi-Fi. Bingo. Built-in Wi-Fi connectivity. This is the only camera in our final four that offers this natively, without needing any extra dongles or anything.
And how does that work? Is there an app?
Yep, you use a free app called YPulse, available for both Android and iOS. Connect your phone to the camera's Wi-Fi hotspot, and boom, cables become optional.
So you can just zap photos and videos straight to your phone.
Instantly. Or, well, pretty quickly, depending on file size. Transfer them wirelessly within seconds or minutes. For someone who needs to edit immediately on their phone and get content up on social media fast, maybe covering an event or traveling,
that speed is everything.
That workflow efficiency alone can easily be worth the extra $10 or $20 compared to the others. It saves so much time and hassle.
And the app does more than just transfer files, right? Remote control.
It does. You can use the VPulse app on your phone as a remote trigger for the camera.
Oh, that's really useful.
Massive utility bonus. Think about setting the camera up on a tripod for a group shot where you want to be included.
No more dashing back after setting the timer.
Exactly. Or maybe you're doing landscape photography and want to avoid even the tiniest camera shake from pressing the shutter button. You just tap your phone screen. It's genuinely pro-level functionality trickling down to this budget price point.
The design seems really geared towards vloggers, too.
Very much so. It's got the standard 3.0-inch IPS 180-degree flip screen, of course. But they've also specifically mentioned a built-in microphone designed for clearer audio capture than you might typically get.
Recognizing that sound matters for video.
Yep. And another nice touch.
Yeah.
It has a dedicated WT dial, like a little wheel or lever, specifically for controlling the 16x digital zoom.
Instead of just buttons.
Right. It gives you smoother, more controlled, more tactile zooming, which feels a bit more professional when you're filming. And one last thing, quite unusual for this price. They explicitly mention backing it with 247 customer support.
That's rare for budget electronics. Shows a bit of confidence in the product.
It does. A nice bit of reassurance.
Okay, 4 fantastic options, each with a clear strength. Duluvulu for battery, Lecnippy for low light and price, 𝐂𝐚𝐞𝐬𝐭 for resolution and extras, 𝐵ofipoo for connectivity.
Let's try and synthesize this now into a really clear, actionable buyer's guide.
Yeah.
How does someone choose?
Let's break it down by the key decision factors. First, resolution versus price. It's often the starting point.
If you absolutely want or need that maximum 64-megapixel detail, your choices are the 𝐂𝐚𝐞𝐬𝐭 at $49.99 or the 𝐵ofipoo at $69.99.
So you can get 64 MP for under $50 with the 𝐂𝐚𝐞𝐬𝐭. That's pretty amazing.
It really highlights the value available. If you're perfectly happy with the still excellent 48 megapixels, then you're looking at the Duluvulu for $59.99 or the super affordable Lecnippy at $49.98.
So resolution is covered. What about connectivity and those unique utility features?
This is where the trade-offs get interesting. If built-in Wi-Fi and remote smartphone control are must-haves for your workflow, the 𝐵ofipoo is literally your only option here. It wins on connectivity, hands down.
And the others rely on USB cable transfer.
Yes, but there's a slight nuance with the 𝐂𝐚𝐞𝐬𝐭. It supports something called MSDC mode.
MSDC, what's that? You mentioned it briefly.
Right. MSDC stands for Mass Storage Device Class. Basically, when you plug the 𝐂𝐚𝐞𝐬𝐭 into your computer via USB in this mode, your computer sees the camera exactly like it would see a standard USB flash drive or an external hard drive.
So no special software needed.
Nope. No drivers, no proprietary transfer apps. You just open the folder and drag and drop your photos and videos like you would with any other storage device. It makes wired transfer super simple, super reliable, and potentially faster than systems that rely on specific software. It's just pure, straightforward efficiency for wired transfer.
That's a nice touch for the 𝐂𝐚𝐞𝐬𝐭. And the Lecnippy's unique utility is that record while charging feature.
Correct. Which, again, is absolutely non-negotiable for anyone planning really long recording sessions or streaming.
So it really forces you to prioritize. Is it wireless speed you need most? 𝐵ofipoo. Is it continuous power for long shoots? Lecnippy. Or is it maybe the fastest, simplest wired transfer?
𝐂𝐚𝐞𝐬𝐭. Precisely. You have to match the feature to your actual use case.
Okay, let's make this super practical. Let's tie these features directly to specific types of users. This is the ultimate which one should you buy breakdown.
All right. Choose the Duluvulu DC-101 if your absolute main concern is reliability and shooting for the longest possible time away from a power outlet. That 3-battery package with the charging station is unbeatable for endurance.
So perfect for the weekend camper, the festival goer, the all-day event shooter.
Exactly. Anyone who values maximum shooting time and a solid, proven all-around performer with top-notch power logistics.
Okay, choose the Lecnippy DC-402 if.
Choose the Lecnippy DC-402 if you are absolutely laser-focused on the lowest possible price, but you also need that continuous recording capability, record while charging, for streaming or super long videos. And crucially, if you anticipate shooting often in lower light conditions, where that unique f2.8 aperture will give you a real advantage over the others.
Right, the low light specialist on a budget. Next, choose the 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 DC-413S if.
Choose the 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 DC-413S if image resolution is your absolute #1 priority. You need that 64 megapixel detail for serious cropping or large printing. It's also the logical choice if you want the most complete, ready-to-shoot package right out of the box with the SD card, bag, and lanyard included. And maybe you're intrigued by the creative possibilities of that dual camera system for vlogging.
The everything-included resolution king. And finally, choose the Bafapoo DC-103 if.
Choose the Bafapoo DC-103 if you identify primarily as a content creator, maybe a travel blogger, someone whose workflow absolutely demands speed and convenience. If getting files onto your phone wirelessly immediately for quick edits and sharing is critical.
And if you'd use that remote control feature,
then the extra cost for the Bafapoo's Wi-Fi and app integration is totally justified. If you hate dealing with cables and prioritize a fast, modern workflow, this is your camera.
Perfect. That really clarifies the choices. We've broken down the hardware, but now, as the sources kept emphasizing, having the gear is only step 1, right?
Absolutely. The real revolution here isn't just that the gear is cheap. It's that the accessibility of pretty good gear frees us up to focus on what actually makes photos great. The skill, the art.
Couldn't agree more. So let's shift focus completely away from the cameras themselves and talk about the user. The best camera on earth won't save a terrible photo. What are the key fundamentals people should focus on mastering, regardless of which of these they buy?
Okay, tip #1 sounds obvious, but it's so often skipped. Master the basics first. Meaning resist the urge to immediately jump into all the manual settings and fancy modes. Spend your first week, maybe even 2, just using the camera on full automatic mode.
Really?
Just auto. Get a feel for it. How does the autofocus actually behave? How quickly does it turn on? How does holding it feel? How does using the flip screen change how you frame shots? Get the physical operation totally intuitive before you start adding layers of complexity.
So you're not fumbling with menus when the perfect moment happens?
Exactly. You want the camera to feel like an extension of your hand, not a puzzle box. Once that's comfortable, then start exploring.
Okay, once the operation is second nature, what's next? Composition.
Proper composition. Absolutely fundamental. Composition is basically the visual language of photography. It costs nothing to learn, and it will improve your photos dramatically, whether you're using a $50 camera or a $5,000 one.
We all know the rule of thirds, putting things off-center. What else?
Go beyond that. Start looking for leading lines. These are elements in the scene, like paths, fences, roads, rivers, even rows of trees, that naturally draw the viewer's eye into the image, usually from the foreground towards the main subject or into the distance.
Adds depth, right.
Immediately adds depth and guides the viewer's gaze. Another easy one is framing.
Using elements in the scene to frame the subject.
Yeah. Look for natural frames, maybe shooting through an archway, under a tree branch, through a window. Using these elements to surround your main subject creates a frame within the frame. It isolates the subject, adds context, and just makes the photo feel more considered, more professional. Requires zero extra gear, just looking differently.
Simple but effective. Now, the source has hammered this home again and again. The single most important factor.
Lighting. Without a doubt, it is the fundamental ingredient. Good light can make a simple subject look amazing. Bad light can make even the most exotic subject look dull.
Everyone talks about the golden hour, sunrise, sunset.
Right. That soft, warm, beautiful light. Always try to shoot then if you can.
Yeah.
But what about the middle of the day, that harsh overhead sun?
Yeah, nightmare for portraits usually. Creates harsh shadows under the eyes and nose. What's the fix with these budget cameras?
The key is often to avoid having the sun directly hitting your subject's face, if possible. Look for open shade.
Like under a big tree or in the shadow of a building.
Exactly. The light in open shade is much softer, more diffused, more even, and generally way more flattering, especially for people. If you have to shoot in direct, harsh sun, Try positioning the sun behind your subject.
Backlighting. Won't that make their face dark?
It will initially, yes. But then you can use your camera's exposure compensation feature, which all these models have, to deliberately brighten the shot a bit. Or you could even use that little built-in fill light, like on the Duluvulu.
Ah, use the fill light to brighten the face.
Just subtly. Not to blast them, but just to lift the shadows on their face a little. This creates a nice rim light effect from the sun behind them, separating them from the background, while the fill light ensures their face is properly exposed. It's about controlling and shaping the light you have.
Thinking of the fill light more as a catch light creator than a main light source.
Precisely. Just enough to put that little sparkle in the eyes makes the subject look alive. That conscious handling of light, even in simple ways, is what elevates your photos beyond basic snapshots.
Okay, so master the camera basics, learn composition, understand light. What else?
You absolutely have to experiment and practice regularly.
Use the feature.
Use the features you paid for. If you got the Duluvulu with time-lapse, go shoot some clouds moving. If you got the 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 with continuous shooting, go photograph birds taking off. Try the filters, try the slow-motion video.
Get comfortable with everything it can do.
The more you actively shoot, the more intuitive it all becomes. Your eye gets better, your timing gets better. You start anticipating moments instead of just reacting. That intuition only comes from putting in the hours, taking lots of pictures, even bad ones.
And finally, just a quick word on looking after the gear and polishing the results.
Yeah, simple stuff. Use the storage bag if one came with it, like the 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭's. Keep that lens clean, seriously. A greasy fingerprint is the quickest way to ruin sharpness. Wipe it gently with a microfiber cloth.
And battery care.
Follow the charging instructions. Don't leave them dead for months on end. And the final step, don't underestimate post-processing.
Editing your photos.
Even basic edits. You don't need fancy software. There are loads of great free apps for your phone or computer. Just tweaking 3 simple things, exposure, brightness, white balance, color temperature, and contrast can often take a meh photo and make it really pop.
And cropping.
Absolutely. Straighten horizons, crop slightly to improve composition. Remember, you've got 48 or even 64 megapixels to play with on these cameras. They're designed to give you that flexibility in post. Use it.
Great practical advice. Let's tackle a few common questions or concerns that always seem to pop up around budget cameras like these. First, big one. Can you really use these for something like YouTube? Is the quality good enough?
Yes, absolutely. The 4K video resolution from all these top picks is more than sufficient for YouTube, TikTok, or any online platform. Honestly, at this point, the content of your video, the story, the information, the entertainment value matters far more than whether you shot it on a $60 camera or a $600 one. Good lighting and clear audio, maybe using an external mic eventually, will make a bigger difference than the camera body itself.
Okay, good to know. Next question. How do these really stack up against the camera we all carry anyway, our smartphone? Why buy one of these instead of just using your phone?
That's a really valid question, and the answer is, well, it depends. Smartphones are amazing, convenient, and their computational photography, the AI tricks they do, is incredible for quick snaps.
Why?
But these dedicated cameras offer some real advantages. First, zoom. That 16x digital zoom, while imperfect, as we discussed, is still generally going to give you more reach than the limited optical zoom on most phones.
Okay, better zoom. What else?
Ergonomics and controls. Holding a camera shaped like a camera, with a proper grip and dedicated buttons for shutter, zoom, maybe mode dials. It just feels much better for intentional extended shooting sessions compared to holding a slippery phone. You get more tactile control.
More comfortable to use for longer.
Definitely. And third, maybe most importantly for some, it doesn't drain your phone's battery. Your phone remains your communication and navigation tool. Using a separate camera encourages a bit more intentionality, perhaps, separating quick snaps from more considered photography or videography.
Makes sense. We talked a lot about 48 MP versus 64 MP. Can you just quickly summarize again? When does that extra resolution really matter?
Think of it like this. If you primarily view your photos on screens, phone, computer, or share them online, the difference between 48 and 64 megapixels will be practically invisible. You won't notice it.
So when do you notice it?
It really only becomes crucial if you plan to do 2 things. 1, print your photos very large, like poster size or bigger. Or 2, crop your images extremely heavily in editing, like taking a small section from the middle and blowing it up.
That's when having more pixels to start with helps maintain quality.
Exactly. For everyday shooting and sharing. 48MP is absolutely plenty. Don't choose a camera just based on the megapixel number if another model has a feature you need more, like the Lecnippy's aperture or the 𝐵𝐹𝐹's Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Match the MP count to your actual need for cropping or large prints.
Got it. And final FAQ. That Wi-Fi feature on the 𝐵𝐹𝐹, it costs a bit more. Is it a luxury or a necessity?
It is purely about workflow speed and convenience. If you're the kind of person who takes a photo and wants it on Instagram or shared with friends literally 5 minutes later, then yes, the 𝐵𝐹𝐹's Wi-Fi feels like a necessity. It streamlines everything.
But if you're not in a rush...
If you're a hobbyist or you're happy to wait until you get home, plug in the USB cable, transfer the files to your computer, and then edit and share, then Wi-Fi is absolutely a luxury. You can save that $20 by choosing the 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 or Lecnippy and just use the 𝐃𝐢𝐠𝐢𝐭. It makes zero difference to the actual quality of the pictures you take.
It's a workflow cost, not a quality cost.
Perfect way to put it.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, our deep dive shows the budget digital camera market under $100 isn't about making huge compromises anymore. It's actually kind of incredible what you can get.
It really is. 4K video, high-resolution photos, useful features like flip screens. It's all there.
Success is really about understanding the specific strengths of each model and making the right calculated trade-off for your needs. Do you prioritize battery life above all else? Duluvulu. Is low-light shooting your main challenge, Lecnippy? Do you need maximum detail for cropping, damn Corey? Or is instant sharing via Wi-Fi the killer app for you? 𝐵𝐹𝐹.
Match the features set to your personal shooting style and priorities, not just the biggest number on the spec sheet.
Exactly, and that leads perfectly into our final thought for you listening.
Yeah, now that you know that genuinely capable hardware is this affordable, this accessible, you can kind of stop worrying about whether your gear is good enough, because for most uses, it absolutely is.
The focus can shift.
Right. Our sources consistently stress this. Mastering the fundamentals, understanding light, practicing composition will always give you more dramatic improvements in your photos and videos than just buying slightly better gear. So the final question we want to leave you pondering is this.
Now that the hardware barrier is effectively gone, where are you going to invest your time and energy? Will it be endlessly comparing camera specs online?
Or will you dedicate that time to mastering the actual art and craft of photography? Learning about light, composition, storytelling skills that are free to learn, skills that guarantee great results, regardless of whether your camera costs $50 or $5,000.
Something to think about. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.